Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Computer America Show. It's Thursday, and just to let you know, we've had a slight schedule change. Polaris, who was scheduled to be with us, we've since changed it and updated. They were not able to make it, and we will have them on another upcoming Computer America Show. It's live broadcasting. These things happen. So in the meantime, we're going to do 2 hours of computer and technology news.
1 minute until showtime.
We haven't done news for quite some time, and so we have lots of stories to report on. So it should be a fun show. Of course, Ralph Bond from Autodesk will be joining us tomorrow. That will be here for both hours, and we look forward to that as well. So sit back, enjoy 2 hours of Computer America coming at you right here.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. Hope all of you had a lovely day yesterday, and we have a terrific show planned for you. Now, we're a live radio broadcast, and things happen, and our guest that was scheduled for the first hour, Polaris, to the last minute to canceled on us. However, we will get them back on the show another day, probably sometime next month. They're going to be talking about the GEM, their electric car, and we look forward to having them on that program. So in the meantime, we have not done computer and technology news for
quite a few days.
Yeah, in a few days, and so we're going to do both hours dedicated to computer and technology news. See, they're all happy about that. Now, what we will do is that if you have a comment or a question about anything, or you have a computer problem or a tech question, we will keep our phone lines open. So you can call in and ask your question. It's 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Another way to submit your question or comment, head over to ComputerAmerica.com, the internet home of our radio broadcast. On the upper right-hand corner of any page there, it says Submit a Question. Just click that, and it'll take you to our question submission page. You can type your question or comment in there, hit the Submit button. Ben and I will see it immediately and act accordingly upon it. And the other thing we invite you to do is watch our live video stream. Just any page at ComputerAmerica.com. It says Show Lounge. Just click it. You'll be taken to our live radio broadcast already in progress. You'll join our live video stream. You can see myself. You can see Ben. Ben also has the technology to display websites, movies, videos, that type of thing in the background, so you can actually watch the news stories that we're talking about as well. And it just makes for a better interactive experience. If you are not listening to us live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we invite you to go to our archives page at ComputerAmerica.com. You'll see all the places that archive our show, SoundCloud, Stitcher, the Blog Talk Radio Network, all these different places carry our show, Apple's iTunes. You can download the show at your leisure, and listen to it at any time. But we'd like to have you live, obviously. So 3 to 5
It's more
p.m.
fun that way.
Yeah, it's more fun that way. And again, you can kind of interact with us. It just makes for a fun experience. More and more programming is becoming interactive. It really is, and we are certainly at the forefront of that. We like to make ourselves available. So again, 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. So anything else, Ben, before we start doing our news segment for both hours today?
No, there are a couple topics I want to cover, and there's a news story that I unfortunately can't seem to find the sources I want to find for it, but it was happening on Tuesday when we had Josh Boykin on for our Gamer Tuesday.
Mhm.
But I still want to cover it, so I think we're gonna get into that first before we really get into any true articles.
All right. Well, you can send me the link. And by the way, just for
Oh,
those,
there is no link.
oh, okay. Well, just for those of you who are movie fans or movie buffs, Ben just sent me a link to the latest release for the Batman versus.
Not just the latest, the last official trailer before the movie actually comes out.
Which is in March, I believe.
It's coming It's coming very soon.
And it does not disappoint. It's a terrific trailer, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And I am looking forward to seeing that movie. I'm not going to see very many movies these days, but when that one comes out, I definitely want to go to the movie theater to see that, and looking forward to that. So yeah, and also you showed me a video from, was it Bosch?
No, Bose.
Bose. It was Bose. Thank you. We watched a video of an automobile suspension.
Just to tell you how up and with the times we are, we watched a video about cars from the 1980s.
Was that when it was from the 80s?
Mhm.
And it never made it to the consumer market.
Nope.
No, it never has. I would have liked to have had a car like that.
It was, for anyone out there who has not seen the video, you can go check it out. It's Project Sound by Bose, Bose. And yes, the people who make the headphones and the speakers and whatnot. Yeah, they in the early 1980s, they developed a car suspension system, Project Sound, that was run by electromagnetics instead of by giant metal springs and coils.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was very, very cool video. You should definitely go check it out. But the main thrust of the video is that even in the 1980s, in the early 1980s, they had car suspension that would make today's cars drool.
Right. And why they never made it to the general consuming market? They cited cost. Oh well, okay. From the 80s to now, I'm sure all the components would have come down.
Cost and probably some sort of complication, because again, car suspension, those giant metal coils, they're I've seen them replacing their guys on how to do it on YouTube. This is electromagnetic.
Yeah.
So it may be a little more complicated, but either way, it seemed prohibitive for them to really invest in it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, not only this, they put an obstacle in the way of the car, and the car sensed it and jumped over the obstacle.
Yeah, the car actually jumped over it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like watching the horses, with it was absolutely amazing. And of course, they had the uneven road, and the standard car you could see going, back and forth, shimmying back and forth using standard suspension. The other one, just like it was glided right over. The tires would go up and down. The car stayed perfectly level. Just amazing stuff. It's sad to see that this hasn't made it into today's technology.
Yep. And of course, at the end of the video, they mentioned that it's been permanently garaged. So,
oh wow. Okay, well, that said, we got lots of news stories to do, so let's get going with it. All right, let's do it. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Slimwareutilities.com. Check them out. They do everything that they say they do and more, really. I just mentioned their Windows 10 privacy tool really configures Windows 10 to truly keep your internet presence private if you want to. Download them. You'll be very happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com.
All right. So for the first story it's a story. Don't get me wrong. Just no real direct article that I can point to, but I've been following this for a little while, and it's very, very interesting because in a roundabout way, it could affect us because this is based on YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, social media, and but this is more people who make their livelihood off of producing content for either of these places, and the I guess the funny thing is that there's a Facebook page called SoFlo, SOFLO, and he is widely regarded as, at least with his Facebook page, he takes he takes content from other YouTubers, other people on Facebook, other stuff like that, and he reposts it using shadow accounts that really that aren't really actual people, and he reposts the content over and over again on his Facebook page, and it's pretty well known, and people have shown proof that their video was one of the ones that were actually stolen, but at the end of the day, it's what the people really care about, and if you don't have if the viewers really don't care where the funny content is coming from, then they're really not going to do that much to make sure that they're doing the right thing. So this gentleman SoFlo, he has like 80 million Facebook subscribers, and then tons more on YouTube besides. But where this became a story was that there's another content provider. His name is He Productions, H3 Productions, and he actually made a parody channel of SoFlo. SoFlo Bro is the name of, or at least was the name of that channel. You following so far, Greg?
So far. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the Facebook, without warning, without notice, without chance for appeal, without reporting, one day decided to take down the parody channel of SoFlo, who, by the way, again, takes content from other viewers, and redirected all the likes. It was about 88,000 likes on the parody page, redirected all the likes without letting anyone know. People just kind of woke up one day and was like, hey, why do I all of a sudden like this page? And redirected all the likes to the to the original page that they were parodying. So obviously the audience was not overlapping at all, because if you don't like this content provider, then you're probably not you're probably not going to like his page, and you're just going to like the parody page. Anyways, deleted the Facebook page, redirected the likes, and just without saying anything, dismantled this guy's Facebook page.
Ouch.
Right. And again, without chance for appeal. And so that is, that was really, really hard. That was a really hard pill to swallow. And why this is making such a big hubbub is that Facebook is actually considering soon to let people monetize how many people actually visit their page on Facebook. Much like video views on YouTube, how you can get paid for how many people watch your video.
Sure.
Facebook is considering how many people look at your page on a daily basis or on an active basis, and paying you for how many people you're visiting. And SoFlo, the original one that stole all the content and was redirected with all the likes, they are supposedly one of the few that are pioneering this. Like, they're going to be essentially the quote unquote beta testers. So it's very convoluted. It has a lot to do with copyright, and has a lot to do with copyright, originality, views, social media, and then to top it all off, He Productions, who actually started to make reaction videos about, or made a video reacting to all the drama that was going on, actually got a cease and desist from SoFlo for stealing their content, or for at least bad mouthing SoFlo. So, yeah, I mean,
it seems to me. Well, again, I have never visited SoFlo, and I'm hearing this for the first time, so I would have to look at it before I could really give you any intelligent commentary about what's going on. But just at a cursory level, anytime you do something without at least allowing people to appeal the process or giving them fair warning, that you're about to make a change.
Well, it was without letting them know. It's like, hey, you're in danger of, having your page deleted because it's too similar to this, and this. but it was also the fact that the people who liked the parody page
Mhm.
were just automatically redirected. Like, you know, that would be like if you know, if you liked, let's just take news channels, not endorsing one news channel over the other. Let's say you liked CNN, but then CNN was found to be too similar to another page. So then Facebook automatically made you like NBC just because you liked CNN before.
Mhm.
You know, the fact that they could redirect your like and make you like something that you had that you really didn't is a little disturbing in itself. You know?
Yeah, no, I certainly get where you're coming from. I certainly I would not like that to happen to me, you know. So obviously, if I like a particular page and then the service redirects me to another page, just because, you know, uh, I it's something that I wouldn't want to happen, as best I can say.
You wouldn't want to happen to you, and the reason that this is more contingent because like it's not just like a stolen video or anything like that. This is technically people's, you know, jobs. Like their job is to make content, you know, that they can then monetize through viewership and, you know, getting their name out on social media.
Yeah, and all that work that they did is now basically
stolen and dismantled,
yeah.
all in favor of of one other content creator.
That's like going to a website. You know, you build and create our Computer America website, and then the service provider says, "Oh, sorry, we don't want you," and they redirect everybody to a competitor. Yeah. You know, well, I wouldn't be very happy about that. No,
exactly. So, luckily it's starting to check out, and you know there are a couple videos. It really is kind of seeing like on the from an outside perspective looking into YouTube, it's just make a good video, put it up on YouTube, and hopefully it'll catch on and quote unquote go viral.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're finding out is that some big name people with a lot of followers and a lot of pool in the professional circle, like on the corporate level, they will go out, find good videos that are starting to do well by small content providers, take that video, upload it, and then hit the smaller guys because they are bigger with cease and desist or copyright infringement or what have you. It's, you know, just part of the quote unquote industry that Facebook and YouTube have started, where the view matters, but content or you know, copyright and all that kind of stuff, you know, this is my content, is so hard to prove today.
Well, and this is just starting to happen.
It's been happening, and you know, it's something that will probably have to be solved before long, because there are tons and tons of people who have millions of followers, who have millions of audience members, who simply go to their channel and watch the videos because, hey, essentially they're all being aggregated in one place, but then they're claiming that it's their video, that, you know, and by extension it's their video, they get the ad revenue, and they've shut out smaller people who actually make, you know, the same, you know, who actually make the content.
Well, I'm sure as time moves on,
it's very anti-competition for something like YouTube, because YouTube should be, you know, for everyone.
Yes, that's very true. It is. It sounds to me like it is anti-competitive, and I'm sure as the weeks and months progress, we'll hear more stories about it, and we'll continue to follow that story. Okay. All right. This next story is from Maxim PC. Again, this is the story that Ben and I have been covering regarding Netflix and them basically declaring that you can't use a VPN to access their services in order to watch content that's not geographically centered to where you're located. I believe it started in Australia, and people were using a VPN so they could watch content that's in the United States they couldn't watch before. And so when the VPN services found out about it, they went ahead and restructured the VPN so it would work again. And then Netflix came back and tried to compete, you know, to counter that move. And it's like the old lock and key syndrome. And that's where things were kind of happening. Evidently, this story from Paul Lilly today says that PayPal is now getting in the mix. Evidently, PayPal is now choosing to aid Netflix in what he's calling a losing war against VPN users, and he says he's calling the war against the VPN companies a losing one. He says that Netflix won't be able to continue to do this, that the technology just won't allow them to continue blocking VPNs. But anyway, PayPal appears to be helping Netflix in its efforts to stop people from streaming movies and TV shows that aren't supposed to be available to them in their region. Now, what isn't known is whether PayPal's efforts is intentional or just coincidentally linked to network. He says, and more on that in a moment. Now, here's the thing. Netflix subscribers have been using VPN services to sidestep Netflix content restrictions in certain areas. Netflix isn't unaware of this tactic, so for about the past month, it's been stepping up its effort to stop this from happening. And we, as I said, reported on this when it started to happen. Now, according to SlashGear, Netflix has only been partially successful, with just 2 VPN providers having users report issues accessing Netflix. Those users received a message from Netflix saying that they were using an unblocker or proxy, and that they should try accessing Netflix after disabling them. Yeah.
Well, we've had a couple here on the show, and 2. I'm sure if they were 2 of the larger companies, that's quite a few people, but there are way more than 2.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as also reported that Netflix was able to thwart the users' attempts to access restricted content by identifying the IP addresses their VPN providers were using. However, it was a short-lived victory for Netflix. Within hours, both VPN providers switched over to a new block of IP addresses, and their users were once again able to access Netflix unfettered. You see, it's this old lock and key thing, back and forth, seesaw. But Paul goes on to say
but it's not even lock and key, though. Like, they aren't really changing the technology, and until Netflix, does something a little more sophisticated. I think this is more akin to, that moment when you're trying to pass someone on the sidewalk, and they're in front of you, so you step left, and they step left, and then you're in front of each other again.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what Netflix is trying to do. Like, they're not really changing anything. They're just trying to block them as they come. But, hey, just get a new block of IPs, just step one step over, and, you're unfettered again. You can go watch it again. It's really not that complicated what they have to do to get around Netflix's,
it isn't
efforts.
But, there are other technological things that they haven't delved into yet. But again, Paul is saying that it's a losing battle. Anyway, because he says it's a constant uphill battle for Netflix, though it may have scored an unlikely ally in PayPal. PayPal service recently decided to stop processing payments to Unotele, which is a VPN provider in Canada. And here's the reason why. Under the PayPal acceptable use policy, PayPal may not be used to send or receive payments for items that infringe or violate any copyright, trademark, right of public publicity, or privacy, or any other proprietary right under the laws of any jurisdiction. That's, again, according to PayPal. Now, so PayPal didn't specifically mention Netflix, and the two may not be in cahoots at all. Be that as it may, though, Netflix will gladly take the assist, even if it's to fight a feudal war. So basically, this was just like a little hiccup. What was happening to Netflix fell under the purview of PayPal's acceptable use policy, and so it worked to Netflix's favor. But I think this is going to be short-lived. I think that's going to change very, very quickly, and the VPN services, they're going to have to do more. Netflix is going to have to do more than just taking a block of IP addresses and say if you're coming from that, because the IP addresses are far more available. They're going to have to use some other technological method. They're going to have to come up with some other technology to block VPNs, and by the very nature of what a VPN is and does, that's going to be really difficult to do.
And this is something that I think we've known from the beginning, is that Netflix is at the beginning they released a press release and like, no more VPNs. It's like, if you want Netflix, go to your own country and have Netflix for your country. We're available. and they're like, we're going to block it, and we're going to use our magic technology powers to block VPN viewing of Netflix. But at the end of the day, I mean, it really wasn't anything magical that they were doing.
Just they switch IP numbers. They're going to have to do something a lot more complex, and I don't know if they really want to do it, because at the end of the day, Netflix, but in that endeavor, Netflix is cutting its own throat. I mean, they're restricting people who are trying to pay the money to use their service. So, and the only pressure is that Netflix is doing this because the people who are providing content to them are in an uproar, and they're and they're going to Netflix. Hey,
and they have to justifiably.
Yeah, exactly.
Fight to keep it, in the right hands, because you can't make a deal with someone in America and then the same content providers doing something different in Europe. You can't just say, oh, well, VPN blockers, they're going to do that, so we can't do anything. No, you have to at least look like you're doing something.
And that's what Netflix I think is trying to do. They're trying to look, because in the end, there are three parties involved here. It's Netflix, it's the VPN, and it's the content providers to Netflix. Those are the three parties, and it's the content providers to Netflix that are causing this upheaval, and justifiably so, I guess.
This is the same fight that that torrenting sites had with like the three parties with torrenting was the torrenting site, the content providers like movies and things like that, and the third party was the ISPs. And then the ISPs started to monitor web traffic and really start to crack down on illegally downloading TV episodes and movies and things like that. And that's gotten pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, I mean, just recently we just did a story that the torrents are now providing their own browser plugin to do their own
streaming.
Yeah, to do their own streaming.
So yeah, and even there, it's it's all lock and key. It's whoever can get better faster. But at the end of the day, I don't think either side is going to quit.
No, I don't think they will either.
They can't quit. They literally can't quit.
Yeah, they can't. There's too much at stake, because it's their livelihood. This is what they're doing. I mean, this is what they're doing, and they can't say we quit. They're gonna continue to put their heads together and come up with ways around, and then the others are going to put their heads together and come up with ways to counter their measures and then counter measures, and it's just going to continue to go. And that's just the way of the world. But as I said, Ben and I are going to keep you apprised with this story as it continues to unfold. Although at this point, Paul Lilly is...
Wait. How did PayPal get in all this?
I think people were paying Netflix their $8 and something through PayPal. They were paying.
Really? I always just pay directly with the card, I guess. You can do that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. They were using PayPal. So PayPal is really an intermediary.
Oh, no. Right here in the article, it's a constant uphill battle for Netflix, as we were just talking about. Though it may have scored an unlikely ally in PayPal, the online payment service recently decided to stop processing payments to Unotelly, a VPN provider in Canada.
Right. People were paying. They were paying for the VPN.
Right.
Through PayPal, and PayPal said, "Sorry, you can't pay them now." So people have to find other ways of paying. And trust me, the VPN services will find some other, because PayPal's not the only game in town.
I mean, I'm sure if the VPN decided to only take this is an extreme case, I don't think they would, but if they decided to only take payment in Bitcoin, they would stay open.
Yeah.
VPN technology, as soon as you get your product down, as soon as you get the software coded, the matter of hosting the servers is more the business than actually, creating the software. So as long as you can continue your service, rent the server space, rent, the IP addresses, then honestly, they can go almost indefinitely. Yeah. And PayPal, I mean, hey, they do what they got to do, but there are tons and tons of ways to get paid other than PayPal.
Yeah, they're not the only game in town, and so this is just a hiccup in the roadmap that defines this particular problem. Netflix and their war with VPN. Yeah.
But I mean, here we see a private company, PayPal, taking a stand for what the corporate believes to be the right thing, which is they feel that this company let's see, Unotelly. They believe that this company is mainly used for legal purposes, so they're no longer going to process payments to them.
Yeah,
So
they violate PayPal's acceptable use policy.
right. So as a private company, they're completely within their right to not process any more payments. But as we said earlier, there's more than PayPal out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, exactly. And those people who are interested in getting the service will find another way. I mean, it's pretty much up to the Unotelly to find other ways of accepting payment, but I'm sure that they are willing to doing something like that. And they might just use a credit card rather than PayPal. And if you don't have a credit card or debit card, or they'll find some other method. There are a lot of other alternatives.
Shell Corporation, just set up a second corporation that looks like another. Yeah, I mean there are ways.
Yeah, but I don't even think we'll have to do that because right now there's so many different companies out there that are looking for customers that.
Unotelly, brought to you by Apple Pay. Yay!
Exactly. You might be able to use Apple Pay. Did you see that commercial for Samsung Pay now that they're saying that that their pay service will work with any credit card device at the store?
I did not see that.
Yeah. It's an interesting commercial, basically, and they're saying, "Oh, we don't accept those kind of payments." You said that doesn't matter if you just show me your credit card device, and they use Samsung Pay, and then it says accepted.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it's an interesting commercial, and it's accepting alternative methods of payment. Hey, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're gonna take a break. We got lots more stories to talk about. You listen to the Computer America Show, 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We will be right back. Stay with us.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons. Accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Yeah, I started my training for St. Patrick's Day. Hi, Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, Trackamo. A gizmo slightly bigger than a pat of butter packs GPS, a lithium-ion battery, a GSM cellular link, and a choice of backs that can use a magnet, Velcro, or a clip to attach. Trackamo is a fairly complete hardware device in a tiny package that also includes a year of monitoring so you can see where the thing it's on is and has been. Depending on what you have in mind, you can set it up for geofences, initial motion alerts, SOS alerts, or live tracking on the web or on its app. The web-based historical tracking covers 365 days of date, time, place, and speed. If you don't find a way to give it a micro USB power feed, the battery will need to be recharged in about 2 days. Bottom line, if there's a what's, where, when within your need to know, you may want to get your things to go with Trackamo. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. And we are doing computer technology news all day today, which is good because we have a lot of stories that have backed up over the last couple days. And we just finished up the story about how PayPal is aiding Netflix in a roundabout way by not accepting payments from certain VPNs. Though the article does mention that maybe that is just a coincidence. Who knows?
Could be.
So, So with that first story out of the way, we're going to move on to Greg. I unfortunately didn't send you this one, but we're going to do it real quick because it is hilarious. It's hilarious. Where crime doesn't pay. So, Baltimore teen car thieves paired their phones with the Jeep Uconnect.
Okay.
That's not something you want to do with a stolen car, is to pair your phone with all of your personal information to the car you're stealing, which is obviously going to be found eventually. That's like leaving your driver's license on the seat for the cops to find. It's not good. So, Connor webcam burglars hunted on social media with help from phone names. So, this is, again, Ars Technica. And on November 22nd, 2015, a group of teenagers broke into a house of a Baltimore man, stealing his bicycle and finding a spare key to his Jeep Renegade. They then took off, stealing the Jeep and taking it for a multi-day joyride after abandoning it with an empty gas tank and some minor damage. In Baltimore, the story would usually end there with the insurance claim and a shrug. But the group of young men involved in the burglary and theft were all captured on a Nest camera. Yay, Nest. As they rifled through the drawers, and some of them left more potential digital evidence when they paired their phones over Bluetooth with the Jeep's Uconnect system. Don't do that. Well, don't steal cars, but also don't do that. One of the thieves was identified from a headshot of the camera footage a few weeks later by a school police officer and has already pleaded guilty in juvenile court. But the apprehended youth wouldn't give the identities of the others involved in theft because he's juvenile. He'll obviously be released soon. Those aren't kids. So the victim, a systems administrator known on Twitter by the handle Bacon is Fruit, turned to the internet to help him track down the rest of the crew. And he has a quote here saying, the insurance took care of me, so I don't have much to gain other than satisfaction at this point. Bacon is Fruit has nothing to lose, I guess is what he's saying, or really nothing to gain. But he decided he didn't get any additional solid leads until Tuesday when he got his Jeep back from the repair shop, and it was then that he noticed 3 new device names in the Jeep's Uconnect system paired device list. So, since he happens to work in IT at a Baltimore-based cybersecurity firm, that's not who you want to mess with. He showed a coworker the list, launching an open source intelligence gathering operation to identify more of the culprits. And one of the phone names matched the name of an Instagram account belonging to a teen in South Baltimore who appears to match one of the individuals caught on the Nest footage. And that account's contacts include another individual whose name matches one of the phones on the list. See, but I feel like that didn't take an IT professional. That took Google at most. They took the name that the Bluetooth device had, typed into Google, found this kid's Instagram with the same name, and then looked through his contacts, or at least his friends on Instagram, to find another kid named the same name as the other phone. I feel like that doesn't take an IT professional, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's fairly
pretty straightforward.
Straightforward, yeah, exactly.
So, while all Bacon Fruit's cybersecurity posse currently has to go on is the phone names, they're looking at possible ways to pull more data about the phones from the Uconnect system. Though there's concern about whether doing so would break the chain of custody needed for the data to be used as evidence by the police. But given that the 2 identified so far have suddenly gained a number of information security-oriented followers on social media, there may be more for them to worry about than an arrest.
And there was an update here.
Yes, the update. Bacon is Fruit, the guy who got his Jeep stolen, says that the Baltimore City Police have contacted him about the Bluetooth pairing data and social media hunting, and that has generated several leads for the case. So, but that's pretty dang funny that you take it to your little circle of friends, and your circle of friends happen to be IT security professionals, and then all of a sudden you are these kids from South Baltimore who get a bunch of new followers from, I assume, IT professionals all over the country. That would seem pretty odd.
Yeah. It's something up to Charles Tindall would love to play with.
Charles Tindall would love the
Stealing his car, yeah.
justice that's obviously going to come right after this.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like the police are slow moving on this, but
well, yeah, and this level of work is, I don't want to say it's very complicated or very hard. It's just the police, once you file your insurance claim, and he said it right there in the article that the gentleman, he had a valid insurance claim, everything was fixed.
Mhm.
Really, there was no real reason to follow through with this, other than, as he said, the satisfaction knowing that the criminals who did this didn't get away.
Either that, or he could do turnabout and start doing gray hat things to them, like canceling their Facebook accounts and.
I think getting them into juvenile court for grand theft would probably be better.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Okay, well, moving on. We have so many stories to do and so little time. We talked about Apple stores with the iPhone would take damaged ones in return if they were what was the term that they use? Lightly, or was it loosely damaged? Or anyhow, Apple stores, according to CNET, will now apply iPhone screen protectors for you. Okay. Belkin and Apple have teamed up to add an easy way to add a protective layer on your iPhone. But the question is, would you buy one? So if you don't feel like paying the $99 to $150 that Apple charges for an iPhone screen to repair, you could always just add a screen protector. It won't necessarily keep your phone screen from breaking, but it might help. He says, I've never been a screen protector person, but Apple stores are going to make it easier for people on the fence with a Belkin machine that applies it in store. They'll put it on for you. Belkin is installing Screen Care Plus application systems in worldwide retail Apple stores starting today. This hardware, designed specifically for Apple, applies a protective glass or anti-glare screen protector onto iPhones, helping remove air bubbles and ensuring what Belkin promises is a perfect fit. Because that's always been the problem with you put these screen protectors on. You get the little air bubbles and they give you the little flat edge thing.
I don't know why people say that, because I've put screen protectors on my phones.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah, but evidently a lot of people do.
People and like I've seen other people do it, and I think where they mess up is that they don't commit. They try to put down one corner at a time, and then they kind of work it over and around and down, and it's like, dude, just put it on there, line up the holes as best you can, and just commit. Just push down, go, do it. And they don't commit. They hesitate, and then they mess it up. It's like,
it's that moment hesitation that can cause it.
Because they think that you only get one shot to put on a screen protector. It's like, no, they come in boxes of 5, dude. Don't worry about it.
Evidently, Belkin has already had something similar in place already at many Target stores with its True Clear Pro Advanced Screen Care, which is a screen protector for a range of phones, which can be applied by a machine in the Target stores. The Apple Store installed system is a different variant of that machine. Will only be available for the iPhone 6, 6S, 6 Plus, and 6S Plus. The two options are a $35 Invisiglass shatterproof glass protector or a $20 anti-glare protector. And the author goes to say that it's a little odd that there are two choices. He would have preferred just one that does both of the things, anti-glare and screen protector. Now, remember, screen protectors, as Ben pointed out, have been sold in stores for years, and some people find them a hassle to put on. The added application service, much like other places where Belkin's offered the machines, is included within the purchase. Now it's something that can be applied in store. Will it encourage more people to get them? ? Well, maybe as people buy an extended care, battery packs and cases, they'll throw a screen protector in the mix too. And that's pretty much it. Now, I've always had mixed feelings about screen protectors or anything added to the phone. I know a lot of people
screen protectors are so thin and so durable that you really can't even tell once you have it on. You can't even tell it's there.
Yeah, exactly. However, currently I don't have a screen protector in my 6S.
How could you?
Yeah, but there's not a mark on it.
I'm just saying, look at this. This is for an iPhone 5S because that's what I have. I'm sure a lot of people out there have it. And they're talking about how, here it's like $35 for a screen protector and having it installed. You can get one for, from Amazon. It's a 5-pack for 69 cents.
Wow.
There is really no reason for you not to get a screen protector, folks. They're so cheap. Of course, it's $4 in shipping, but still, for $5, for less than $5, if you have Amazon Prime.
If you're a Prime user, but you still have to pay for shipping. I thought Prime was free shipping.
Right, but this is not a Prime.
Oh, it's not
eligible. But still, $5, get your screen protected. Never have to worry about a scratch or a ding. Just replace the cover if something happens. Do it, folks. It really doesn't take that long.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, heck, there's one here. Let's see. This is for an iPhone 6, 6 and 6S.
Yeah.
This one costs a penny, 1 cent.
Yeah.
It's a 5-pack.
A penny for 5 of them?
Or a penny. Yeah. I if you're watching the video stream, please do. Right here, Amazon. Right here. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6S screen protector, 5-pack invisible ultra clear for a penny.
And how much to ship?
$4.
$4. So $4 and 1 penny.
No, $3.99. So $4 flat.
$4 flat. There you go. A 5-pack.
Get a screen protector. It will do so much good.
How does a company make a profit by selling 5 of these things for a penny? I don't get that.
They're so cheap and easy to make that it's scary that someone like Target or Apple was going to charge you $30, $40, $50 to put one of these on, when you could do it at home for $4.
And have 5 chances to do it.
And have 5 chances to do it. Don't worry. Your first one is your mess up. First one's your freebie. Your second one is, man, you really should have gotten that one, but it doesn't really matter. And then you have 3 more chances. You can do this.
How hard is it really to put it into? You line it up? Is there a little flat tool or something that you use to put it on? Or?
Yeah, it comes with like a little scraper kind of tool. But honestly, if you just start at one corner and, if you start at the bottom, line up the hole at the bottom correctly, and just kind of roll it up, you're not going to get any problems. It's really, really easy to do, folks.
The hole being the
hole being the Apple home button.
The home button, right? Because you don't want to cover that because
most screen protectors have little holes for, let's say, the camera flash little light, and it has for the speaker, for your ear, and the webcam in front. There are little holes for that, but honestly, if you just line up the center bottom home button, then the rest is just going to fall into place. It's very, very easy.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, that was a cute story, so I thought we'd let you know.
All right, and I think we have enough time to get into this one, and this is kind of sad to hear, and I hope I hope that it does not come to fruition. And Greg, unfortunately, I did not send you this one. But this one is from Fact Mag. It's not Fact Mag. And it's not usually one that we frequent, but I did see the story, and it might just affect us in a roundabout way and a lot of people. So SoundCloud, you know them because, hey, we use them to archive our show. SoundCloud could be forced to close after $44 million in losses.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And we're on SoundCloud, too.
We're on SoundCloud. We're paying for SoundCloud. So, that $44 million, that's not us. That's not on us.
Yeah, I found the article. Go ahead. Yeah.
So a report casts significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a growing concern. So SoundCloud struck a landmark deal with Universal Music Group last month, but its latest financial filings suggest the company is in dire financial straits. This is from a publication called Music Business Worldwide. It says that the company recently published financial reports for 2014. Reveals that its overheads have increased faster than the revenue in recent years.
Wow.
So while SoundCloud brought in about 15.37 million euro, about $17 million in 2014, it lost a total of about 39 million euro, or about $44 million. Employee wages during that period also increased by 42.5%, meaning that the average wage per employee that year totaled about 80,000 euro, which is, going by the other conversions, about $85,000.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's pretty high salary for a company that's not doing too well.
Yeah.
But anyways, the report makes it clear that while the company had adequate resources to continue in operation existence for the foreseeable future, SoundCloud was heavily reliant on further capital investment to continue operating in 2015. So, SoundCloud auditor KPMG said in the report that the need for more investment represented a material uncertainty which may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. SoundCloud raised $77 million in investment in 2015 and is believed to have given Universal Music Group an equity stake in its recent licensing deal. But unless its long-promised subscription service is a financial success, the company could be forced to find new revenue streams to stay afloat.
Wow.
So, and this, of course, in a statement given to Facts, SoundCloud said that the figures reflect those of a company in a strong growth stage with over 18 million creators using the platform, sharing well over 110 million tracks, and reaching 175 million monthly active listeners. And that's a point to really hit home, is that SoundCloud really is a large platform. A lot of people rely on SoundCloud and their current business model to upload and share their music for very, very low cost. But I think that SoundCloud is running into the same problem Twitter has been running into. And it's that these new startup companies, or if you can call Twitter and SoundCloud new startup companies, they get the user base, they get people using the client, but at the end of the day, how do you monetize something like that?
Yeah.
And venture capital can take you so far. As I said, they made $77 million in venture capital last year, which is enough to cover their costs for the year and cover their bills. But at some point, you need venture capital to take a step back, because the venture capital doesn't want to keep pumping money into it. They want to invest until the point where they can turn a profit and start reaping the rewards.
Yeah.
Venture capital isn't going to carry it forever.
Nope.
So it's up to SoundCloud to, in some way, figure out how to turn their 175 million active monthly users into some sort of paid model where they can pay their bills, pay their investors, and still stay afloat.
If each and every one of those sent in just $1.
So we're going with the we're going with the Wikipedia approach.
Exactly.
Where if every person here donated $3, then we would have this whole thing wrapped up in 1 hour.
Yeah, be done. Exactly.
But it's just like Twitter. They need to figure out how to monetize it, and monetize it in a way that doesn't scare off the user base, and is still attracts new users, and makes it easy for people to continue using the platform, because you don't want to monetize to the point where it's like, okay, now there's a flat $5 cover charge, and if you want to use SoundCloud, pay us $5. Like, that's just going to scare everyone away, and SoundCloud's going to be dead within the year. They have to figure out some way to incentivize people to pay them a monthly subscription. Like they said, they have a subscription service on the horizon. It may just be that, but we'll have to see. But SoundCloud, it kind of sucks to hear that they aren't really turning the kind of profit that they should be yet.
Yeah. Especially since they carry our show, too. You would think that would do it for them immediately.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
We should be carrying them. What the heck?
That's right. Exactly. All right. I think we have time before the break to do one more story. And this one I do have a link to. This is Google, Gmail. Google is updating the Gmail with new security features. This is by Kevin Parrish from Maximum PC. In celebration of Safer Internet Day, Google has updated Gmail on the web with 2 new security features that will be rolling out to users this week. The changes center around the transport layer security encryption and email authentication, aiming to keep users' emails safe from hackers. However, Google points out that other services need to take the same steps Google is implementing to ensure the privacy of both the sender and the receiver. Okay. The first change focuses on TLS encryption. If the Gmail user is about to send a message or receive a message from someone who uses a service that doesn't support TLS encryption, they'll see a broken icon in the message. So why is this a big deal? Well, TLS is protocol that encrypts messages and delivers them securely. Without TLS, a third party could eavesdrop on the transmission between mail servers and read your private emails, and you can see it immediately, so you'll know. Google does admit that TLS encryption isn't the perfect solution, but it's currently good enough to be adopted as a standard for secure email. Back in 2014, Google has showed that 65% of the messages from Google to other providers were encrypted, whereas 50% of the incoming messages to Gmail were encrypted. That number has since climbed, with 82% of outgoing email encrypted and 58% incoming encrypted. Now, the second Gmail change deals with authentication. See, if a user receives a message that Google can't authenticate, then it will be branded with a question mark in place of the sender's avatar, corporate logo, or profile for a photo. Email authentication is important because an email provider can recognize the sender of an incoming message. See? This authentication data can be used to fight spam and other forms of email abuse, and to verify to source of any received email. Okay. For example, if you receive a message from a big sender, like a major email provider like Google or Hotmail, that isn't authenticated, this message is most likely forged, and you should be careful about replying to it or opening any attachments, which makes perfect sense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to have it. Now, there was a blog yesterday that pointed out that not all email falling under the new security features will be dangerous. However, Gmail users are encouraged to be cautious about emails that can't be authenticated or arrive from a mail server that doesn't support TLS encryption. And as always, don't click on links embedded in suspicious emails.
Of course. Rule number 1.
Yeah, really.
And to kind of go with this whole story, if you log into Gmail and any other really Google Cloud service, they have this thing somewhere on the page where it's like you take their security audit,
mm-hmm.
and they will give you 2 gig. Is it 2 gigs or 2 terabytes?
What?
Or 20 gigs. Anyways, they'll give you 2 something. I have to go look it up now. I've already confused myself. It's like 20 or 200 gigs of free storage from Google Drive. If you pass if you take the audit class and pass the audit test, you'll get it for free.
That's nice. Yeah. That is nice. Okay, so again, and I guess we can get the message there is just don't click on links.
Oh, here we go. Google is awarding 2 gigabytes of free drive space to promote Safer Internet Day.
Okay. All right. And that kind of ties in with what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I guess Google is tired of dealing with all you whiny people for my email's been compromised, and Google's like, you know what? Let's send them to school. And now they have this, and now they're upping the security on both ends.
There it is. Okay. All right. Do you have time to do one more story? I think maybe, yes.
No, we can start one. How about this one? Google to Google. It's a Google heavy day because there's a story I really want to get to, and we're not going to in this hour. It'll be next hour. But the other story I really want to get to is the story about gravitational waves have been detected for the first time ever. So
yeah,
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
But this story from also from Google, but it's latestgadgets.tech. And yeah, Google will reject all Flash-based adverts in a push for HTML5.
Yay! Yay!
Yeah. So, and again, latestgadgets.tech. And it's advertising and search giant Google has taken yet another step in relegating Flash to the pages of history. From July 2016, it's not from July 2016 and on, it's not going to accept Flash display advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
So from June 30th, developers with Flash-based display advertisements can forget uploading them to Google's DoubleClick Digital Marketing or AdWords. Instead, they'll be uploaded display adverts in HTML5 only.
Yeah, they're going to be forced to do it, sure.
Yes. So phase 2 of Google's plan to go 100% HTML5 begins on the 2nd of January 2017 when Google will no longer run Flash ads on Google Display Network or via DoubleClick.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is good. I mean, you know, just I was using my iPhone just I think yesterday. I wanted to watch some webcams, you know, to see whether it was snowing, you know, in what parts of the up north, and two of them said, "Sorry, you know, you don't have Flash, we can't watch the webcam." And I was disappointed, but I was encouraged because like I found like 4 more that would work, you know, that don't use Flash anymore. Flash is still out there. It's going to be, you know, be used for some time, but eventually Adobe Flash, as you can see if you're watching the video, the little headstone with Adobe Flash on it, about 2017, 2018 will be a thing of the past, and we won't have to deal with it anymore. That and Java, both of them, they need to go away.
I think Adobe is more than ready to get rid of both of them because they're tired. I'm sure, as the article points out, that just a couple days ago, Adobe patched 22 critical flaws in Flash Player. Yeah. I bet you Adobe's pretty sick and tired of patching all this stupid code.
I got them. I got the Flash. I got Java. I got an update for Java, and I got an update for Flash. You know, both updates. And you're right, it is getting tiring. There's all these different flaws that they keep finding.
I mean, just imagine all the amount of resources that that has to go into keeping this somewhat safe.
Let's just stop it. Get rid of it. It's not.
They're trying. They're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're at the top of the hour. We got some other great stories that we're going to be talking about too, including that one on gravitational waves. Also, iPhone's Era 53. We're going to be talking about that as well. And also that LG television that we saw on the Super Bowl. It's gorgeous, but you don't want to know the price. We'll get to those stories and more. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on our second hour of the show. And we are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. In the first hour, as I said, we had a guest that could not make it, and we will have them. We will reschedule them to appear on the show later on. That being Polaris, talking about their electric vehicles. But we're going to continue doing computer and technology news. And again, if you have a comment or question, we have open phone lines 347-884-8881. We'd love to hear from you. If you listen to us live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Also, don't forget tomorrow it's Friday. Yay! And we're going to have another social media winner of the week. We'll be announcing the winner of another Logitech MX2 Anywhere wireless mouse valued at $80. We'll be giving one of those away. We'd love to give one to you. So, you know, make sure that you enter a social media contest at ComputerAmerica.com. It's real simple. And it's very easy. Take a couple of minutes to do it. And then you're in the drawing every single week from then on. Okay? All right, so we're going to continue on. This next story.
What are you doing? We didn't finish the story.
Which? Oh, for the HTML.
Yeah, we got it like halfway through.
Oh, okay. Well, then continue on. Okay, continue on.
All right, then. Nonetheless, Google stated that the video advertisements built in Flash won't be impacted at this time. The new deadline is Google's latest move to wean the online community off Flash, which has been the source of many a security scare with countless stream of bugs affecting the Flash Player browser plugin that has been required to view much of the web's video and animated content. So, Adobe stated that it was not yet aware of any attacks on the flaws. Nevertheless, attacks that exploit the bugs are prone to show up in exploit kits in coming weeks and months. So, on the advertising front, Google has since 2014 provided free tools to convert Flash adverts to HTML5, and last year started to automatically convert Flash ads to HTML5, a move designed to assist advertisers reach smartphones that do not support Flash. Cough, cough, Apple.
iPhones, yeah. Cough, cough.
So, additionally, to enhance Chrome's efficiency, Google updated the browser in September 2015 to automatically pause Flash-based plugins.
Ads. Flash played ads, yeah.
While permitting Flash video to continue running, drawing a line between central and non-central content. So both YouTube and Facebook have now moved completely to HTML5 for video on the respective platforms, and Adobe helped Netflix prepare its recent its recent released HTML5 player for Firefox, bringing its support in line with existing HTML5 players for IE, Edge, Safari, and Chrome, all the big players. Even Adobe is shifting away from Flash, releasing Animate CC, a more HTML5 friendly output tool, replacing the old Flash Professional. So that's it. Essentially, everyone is trying to move away so slowly because it's an industry, folks. It's not a person. It's not a group of people. It's a whole freaking industry that has to move away from Flash. But ever so slowly, they're getting it done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good thing. Okay. Now that we're done with that, this next story has to do with, you know what Moore's Law is, right?
That is the law that if you are in the moors, you do not eat werewolves, because werewolves are dangerous and they hunt at night in the moors.
Yeah, no, Moore's Law is really dead this time, according to the article of Ars Technica. Evidently, the chip industry, who's been following Moore's Law, is no longer going to treat Gordon Moore's Law as a target to aim for. You know, at the age of 51, Moore's Law has died after an extended illness.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, in 1965, Intel co-founder Gordon Moore made an observation that the number of components in an integrated circuits was doubling every 12 months or so. Moreover, as the site that the number of transistors per chip that resulted in the lowest price per transistor was doubling every 12 months. In 1965, that meant 50 transistors per chip offered the lowest per transistor cost. Moore predicted that by 1970, this would rise to 1,000 components per chip and that the price per transistor would drop by 90%. With a little more data and some simplification, this observation became Moore's Law. The number of transistors per chip would double every 12 months. Okay. Again, this was not driven by any particular scientific or engineering necessity. It was just a reflection of how things happened to turn out. But hitting this target didn't happen by accident. Building a silicon chip is a complex process, and it uses machinery, software, and raw materials that are sourced from a number of different companies. To ensure that all the different players are aligned and working on compatible timetables to preserve Moore's Law, the industry has published roadmaps laying out the expected technologies and transitions that will need to be preserved. And basically, the last recent roadmap was published in 2013. Okay. Evidently, these techniques and even the improved techniques were coming up against the wall. The photolithography process used to transfer the chip pattern to the silicon wafer has been under considerable pressure. Currently, light with 93 nanometer wavelength was used to create chips with features just 14 nanometers. Basically, they're coming up against the wall, is what they're saying. And
you can get smaller, but I guess you have to think about it. Let's see. Let's think of it like a ball. And you have a ball that's 3 feet around, and then the next year, or in 18 months, they said the ball has to have the same amount of matter, but half the size. So now it's 1.5 feet in radius, diameter. Radius? Diameter. And then 18 months later, even half, and half, and half, and half, and half. And this has been going on for 50 years, where essentially what used to be a 3-foot size ball is now about the size of the head of a pin, or not even the head of a pin, but, a couple millimeters by a couple millimeters. Yeah, exactly. It's just hard to squeeze that much matter into such a small area. It's hard to squeeze that many transistors into such a small chip. It's just super
Right.
super hard.
We're coming up against the physicality of the limitations, and the article goes on to say perhaps around 2020 all are going to be gates all around transistors and nanowires. The mid 2020s could bring monolithic 3D chips where a single piece of silicon has multiple layers of components that are built up on a single die. But for now, law breaking is going to be the new normal. Moore's law's time as a guide of what will come next and as a rule to be followed is at an end. And there you go. It's basically.
But one thing that was pretty apparent with this was that researchers were actually pretty happy with Moore's law.
Yeah.
Researchers liked the fact that Moore's law existed because it gave them a reason to create incremental improvements in the technology. Because if it was left to the higher ups, if it was left to the CEOs and the investors and whatnot, they would have pushed and pushed and pushed to create stuff to not just be better than what they had, but be even better than what the competition had. And it really is almost impossible to leapfrog over what over what you have and what your opponents have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can just say, okay, look, we can meet these incremental demands, we can do that. And they say, all right, we're happy with that. That's what we projected, and researchers were happy with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to take this next story while you do your thing here, and we'll continue on. Remember, we said that I had said that there was an iPhone we're calling it the Era 53. Evidently, this was when you upgraded to iOS 9. If you had used,
actually, can you skip that story?
Okay, sure. All right, I can do something else. Let's talk about the LG. Okay, LG. If you watch the Super Bowl, there was a commercial there with Liam Neeson as a man from the future, and he was showing off the LG Matrix meets Tron mashup of a Super Bowl ad. They showed off an amazing television set. This was impressive. It was like almost like wafer thin. It was a new OLED technology, and I said, gee, wow, where do we go to get one of these? Well, according to this article, again, by Jared Newman from Tech Hive, if you were impressed by that TV, and who wouldn't be, guess what? You're going to need approximately $8,000 to purchase this television. That's the suggested price for the 65-inch LG OLED 65 G6P, the first TV from LG's signature line of products. And by the way, there's also a 77-inch version on the way, but they haven't announced the price for that one. Okay. In terms of picture quality, OLED allows for deeper blacks and much greater contrast than conventional LED backlit LCD sets because it doesn't require a backlight to illuminate each pixel. That lack of backlighting also allows for a slimmer panel. See, so it's just 0.33 inches thick at its thinnest. This is a gorgeous television set. Beyond the 4K OLED display, includes a speaker system designed by Harman Kardon, powered by a 60-watt amplifier. It ships with WebOS 3.0 smart TV software and includes a voice control remote. The TV also supports HDR with both HDR10 and Dolby version, and bears the new ultra high definition premium certification, a set of performance metrics designed to separate exceptional TVs from merely the good ones. Now, if you're still balking at the cost, LG also announced a $7,000 price tag for its OLED 65 E6P TV, which is similar to the other one, but has less powerful speaker system, a different image mastering engine, and a slightly different design. And you can pick that one up for $5,000. Now, in summary, pricey as these televisions are, it's something of a miracle that they even exist. Because OLED is notoriously difficult to produce at scale, especially in larger sizes. And with the exception of Panasonic, most major TV brands have walked away from the technology entirely. Most are now turning to quantum dots, which greatly improve the color spectrum of LCD TVs, but still don't achieve the deep blacks of OLED. the difference in picture quality won't be worthwhile for vast majority of people, but the fact that you can get a state-of-the-art OLED TV for less than $10,000 is impressive considering where the technology was just a few years ago. So
Less than $10,000 being the operative word, where of course, a couple years ago we saw the first one from LG being $25,000 and being a prototype. So
yeah.
Wait a couple more years. Who knows? Maybe one day it'll be affordable.
Yeah, maybe. Well, look, I just got that 4K 50-inch television, which was, I remember that TV was like $10,000 a few years ago. Now I got it for like a little over $500. So, prices do come down.
Yep.
As I said, we have open phone lines, and we're going to go to Frank, who's listening to us in Florida. Has got a question about Steam. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hey, Frank, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. What's your question for us?
The question is, as I was talking to Ben, that I hadn't really paid too much attention to Steam because it wasn't anything that I had thought about doing. But I just recently heard an advertisement for them that they have 75% off on their products, gaming products for the Lunar New Year, and now I'm tempted. There's something that I think I might actually do, but I don't know what I'm getting into when we're talking about Steam. Is it all downloadable? Is it something that's in the cloud? How does Steam work?
Well, you've come to the right place because Ben and I have Ben has the answers on Steam. So help Frank out here, okay?
Well, Steam is a darling child of the game community. It's had its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it's a great platform that is cloud-based. And if you were thinking about purchasing games, most gamers out there actually purchase their games through Steam rather than having a physical copy somewhere. And yes, it's stored in the cloud, but it can be a good thing because you put your entire game library up on Steam, or at least you purchase your entire library on Steam. If you go from one computer to another, from one console to another, you don't have to worry about product keys or anything like that. You just sign into the account and you sign it in. You go on that computer, and you can download the game to that computer anywhere, no matter what, because hey, it's your game and you can play it anywhere you want. It's very, very convenient if you want to have it that way. Yes, it's hosted in the cloud, but a lot of the games you have to download to your computer, and you can play them offline, so you don't need to have an internet connection required to actually play them. So if that was a worry where you're kind of worried that, oh, if I lose internet connection or I don't have internet connection, then I can't play any games, there are many games that you can play offline of Steam.
That's interesting. And one other question, and maybe it's because of my lack of understanding, but if you're downloading a product from Steam, you have to download it on a particular platform, whether it's PS4 or Xbox or PC.
Everything with Steam is considered a PC game. So this is all for the they have their own little consoles called Steam Big Picture, but everything is essentially a PC game. Like you can't really purchase a game for Xbox on Steam. It's only for PC games.
It's a PC platform. So obviously you have to have a fairly hefty, gaming.
Well, and you're mentioning the sale. The sales, I think, is the thing that many gamers are attracted to in the first place. It's not just the convenience or the cloud storage or anything like that, or never having to worry about product keys, but the sales. They have the Steam summer sale, which is where today they have like the lunar sale. It's like 75% off, which is great. Go for that. But then they have the Steam summer sale, which can vary from 40% off, 50 up to 99% off of certain games.
99% off.
Right. So so they'll wait for the sales just like this. They'll put the games on their waiting list, and yes, you can go purchase the game for full price right now, but if you wanted to, you could wait for it to go on sale. And I know some people who have picked up hundreds upon hundreds of dollars worth of games for just a few bucks, and they may not play them right away, but hey, they'll have them there, and they paid $1 for them. Why not get it?
You see, that goes to show me that I have to listen with both ears all the time to this show so I can know this information.
Yeah, well, You'll save a lot of money by
Oh,
doing.
and honestly, if you and Frank, if you do decide to actually get invested in Steam, there's a thing called the Humble Bundle, and there are a couple of them, but the Humble, it's HUMBLE bundle, and it's a charity platform kind of deal where you donate a certain amount of money, and it can vary anywhere from $8 to $10, sometimes $20. They have different thresholds, and this is all done through through Steam games. And so if you spend like $20 on games, you'll in turn get $200, $300 worth of games by donating through the Humble Bundle. And just keep an eye on that, and you can get AAA titles for literally pennies.
That's interesting. So thumbs up all around for Steam. Then I'm imagining.
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely worthwhile. And after you get invested and do it, Frank, you should give us a call back and let us know how you.
And if there was any ever a stickler for Steam, their customer service is pretty good, but I have heard that their customer service is actually pretty terrible for most games out there. But honestly, I've been using Steam for about 3 years, and I've never had to contact their customer service because their platform just works. So but I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting a recommendation here for Steam. So go for it, Frank.
Sounds all good all the way around. Thank you very much.
Hey,
and one more. We're always looking for games on the cheap because I enjoy that too. If you haven't already, there's another platform that is a direct competitor with Steam. It's called Origin. It's run by EA. And just sign up for that. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to do anything. But about once a month, they'll give away free games, like just for having an account with them. So sign up for that. And I've got
EA games.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I recently got not Hitman. I am so drawing a blank, but yes, they're AAA games that they just give away because they've been out for a little bit, but hey, they give them away for free. So just create an account with them, and you can log in and get it. It's
the account is free, and the
very nice
game. So that's just another thing we suggest you do too. And you can have both. You can have them both on the same computer. Absolutely,
of course.
All right, Frank.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Keep listening. Bye bye.
Yes.
All right. There you go. You see. Just that simple. I think you just.
If there's one thing the internet knows how to do, it's how to play video games on the cheap. And there are many ways to do it, and Steam and Origin are definitely two of the best ways to do it.
And they're great, and they're not cheap games. I mean, they're great games. I mean,
no, they're good games. It's just good gaming on the cheap.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Anyway, we finished the story with the OLED TV. I don't know if you saw the commercial with Liam Neeson on Super Bowl, but they actually showed the TV. It's beautiful. I mean, it's 33 millimeters thick.
I didn't see the Super Bowl commercial, but
it's a gorgeous TV. But it's pricey. But again, as I said, the TV that we just bought for like a little over $500. It's a 4K 50-inch TV. That TV a couple of years ago was like $5,000-$6,000, and now I picked it up for a little over $500. That's going to happen. It's the nature of technology. To if you're an early adopter, you're going to
be extremely prohibitive at first. But after the research and development, things get easier, and it's easier to mass produce things after you figured it out.
Exactly. Okay. Anyway, it's your turn for a story here.
All right. And before we get too much further into this, I don't know how long this is going to take, depending on, let's be honest, Greg's interest. It's official. It is official. Where LIGO is it's official. Gravitational waves have been found.
Yes, I mean it's all been theory. I mean, was it Einstein postulated about them, but never any way of proving it.
Like there's a scientist in like 1890 that actually tried to measure the speed of light going in two different directions, at the same rate. And of course, if there's any kind of gravitational ripples, then it would affect the speed. And that was like 20 years before Einstein. And then Einstein thought about it. And thanks to the general relativity, they said that these gravitational waves must exist. But again, what is done in math and on paper is not something that you can see with measured instruments
Until now.
Until now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's official. The gravitational waves have been found, and they were produced, yes, by two merging black holes.
Mhm.
Because what else produces
Gravity.
crazy effects than black holes?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so Popular Science, and this is Sophie Bushwick, and for months the science world has been buzzing about the rumor that gravitational waves, the ripples in space-time that Einstein predicted 100 years ago, have finally been detected. And today, at a press conference all over the world, researchers at the Laser Interferometer
Yes.
Gravitational Wave Laboratory, or LIGO, as part of observatories located in Washington and Louisiana, confirmed that the hype is true.
Mhm.
Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, we have detected gravitational waves. We did it. On September 14th of last year, LIGO, location in Livingston, Louisiana, picked up a gravitational wave signal, and 7 milliseconds later, its fellow observatory in Hanford, Washington, detected an identical signal. The signal exactly matched the calculated behavior of gravitational waves produced when two black holes collide.
Mhm.
Crazy. So when two black holes merge, they begin orbiting one another. And if you're watching the video portion, you can see this nice little graphic that they have up, and it really does a better job explaining this than I ever could words. But they move closer together, and the speed increases until they are whipping around one another hundreds of times per second.
Mhm.
Ultimately, they combine to form a larger, oddly shaped black hole, and finally, the new black hole relaxes back into a spherical shape. So, according to the predictions, this incredibly violent event should produce a type of gravitational wave signal called a chirp. And that's exactly the signal that both the LIGO locations detected last September. It came from a black hole merger occurring 1.3 billion light years away.
Thank goodness it's that far away.
So really, this happened 1.3 billion years ago.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
So, and of course, the results were published in the Physical Review Letters this morning, and they even have the audio of the chirp.
Really?
So yeah, and it's hey, sounds like a chirp. So, and this is the first time this kind of system has ever been seen. It's proof binary black hole systems exist, but it's more than that. And that's not the gravitational wave finding only major implication. It also confirms the predictions of Einstein's theory of general relativity and will help researchers test and further refine the theory. It proves the ability of advanced LIGO, an experiment 100 years in the making, which involves hundreds of scientists in more than 70 international research institutions in 16 countries. And here's the best part. This proves that LIGO can give us a brand new way to study the cosmos.
Mm.
And I was actually reading an astronomer talk about this, and it was kind of funny to see an astronomer, get all excited. But he was like, humans mainly deal in the electromagnetic spectrum, because light, it's all around us. We're very visual in what we do, and looking at the stars.
We just watch them. Yeah,
that's really been the only way we've been able to monitor, to measure things out in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's red shifting and all that kind of thing. There's X-rays and all that. But with LIGO and the proof that this can actually measure things, even in an indirect method, this just gives us another tool to measure and to measure and test theories out in the universe. It really is the start of a whole new. This really is the start of a whole new field of astronomy.
Right, because not only can we watch the stars, now we can also hear them. Basically,
you can hear them and you can feel them.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the ripples in space-time. And I know it sounds so weird and science fiction-y.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the minute changes in space-time as these violent events occur. So yeah.
basically we have been observing these effects like the black holes. We use an indirect method. We kind of infer from something that this is going to happen. With LIGO, you're going to actually see the objects that had never been able to afford be seen, because technically no one has ever seen physically a black hole. We only inferred that its existence by the math and indirectly. But with this technology, we can actually observe it directly.
Right.
That's huge. That's
you
huge.
can hear it and you can feel it, and it's giving you more tools to measure the universe around us. And yeah, it's also crazy that, of course, a theory put forward by that crazy guy Einstein 100 years ago has finally, what's only been on paper and in math has finally been proven true in the real world, and that he could predict it 100 years before we had the technology to even do it.
Mm-hmm.
So general relativity has yet again been proven correct.
Yeah, it's no longer the theory. It's
still a theory. It will always be a theory, but right now it's the best theory we have. So
okay. All right.
Although I did hear that this event that they measured, the two black holes collapsing in on each other, the amount of force produced by them collapsing in on each other, had more energy than the observable universe 1.3 billion years ago.
Yeah.
It was such a violent event, and it took that large of a violent event just for us to measure this subtle force. It's so hard to measure.
Yeah. It's not subtle if you're right there.
Oh, no, you'd be destroyed completely. But it's cool.
Annihilated. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, coming up, we still have lots of great stories, including Netflix finishing its massive migration to the Amazon cloud. And also how to buy or build an Oculus Rift ready PC. In other words, what you're going to need for this Oculus Rift when it comes out. These stories and more coming up on the Computer America Show. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? That's so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Lunch, they had 3D printed macaroni. Hi, Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Rigid 18-volt Stealth Force Pulse Driver. Big ones are hammer drills. A bit smaller come the impact drivers, and now Rigid opens a new category with their 18-volt Stealth Force 3-speed Pulse Driver. It features a brushless DC motor powered by a 2-amp-hour lithium-ion battery and runs quieter than most drill driver power tools. Its max no-load speeds in its 3 ranges are 1,000, 1,800, and 2,400 RPM, with great variable speed control in its trigger. A trio of white front LEDs keeps the target well illuminated. It fits standard 1/4-inch hex shank bits, so bottom line, with more power, more control, and less noise, the new rigid 18-volt Stealth Force 3-speed pulse driver is easy to love. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are doing computer and technology news. We are wrapping up a couple of stories. And yeah, we just finished talking about, really, I mean, unfortunately, people always like to wrap things up in saying, what does this mean for me? Mm-hmm. And, you know, the story about gravitational waves and what this means for the average Joe, not much. But what this means for the scientific community is, again, an entire new field of research and more instruments to measure the universe around us. So just to give you an idea of how big of a news story this is, the gentleman who concocted the experiment to test for this back in like 1993, he won the Nobel Prize for that year for astronomy.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that was just for designing the experiment that would possibly, you know, lead to the discovery of this. So actually discovering this, we have already found our Nobel Prize winner for astronomy this year.
And she said that the exciting things are now to come. There's going to be a lot more exciting things from this discovery. Right. We're going to see that.
So yeah, it really is a huge deal. It's a huge deal, but yeah, for the average person, it doesn't mean too much.
Well, a lot of this stuff trickles down.
I don't know how gravitational waves are going to trickle down.
Well, it may be a new app on the iPhone.
I doubt that.
Gravitational wave app. Okay.
But it is cool to think about two objects so massive, so completely massive, that are moving so fast. It's at hundreds of times a second. You know, black holes moving at 100 times a second, that they're rotating around each other. It's so much energy, so much power, so much, you know, matter just going around and around and around.
Yeah, you can't.
That it you know, it would do something so crazy as warp space-time across the universe.
Yeah. But it took like 1 billion years to get.
It took 1.3 billion years to reach us, and it still had energy. It was still going.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy amounts of energy. That is literally unfathomable.
Yeah, yeah, it isn't. It really is. You can't begin to understand the power that's involved with something like that. Well, getting back to Earth here. We'll
Earth's boring.
Yeah, in fact, according to Ars Technica, Netflix finishes its massive migration to the Amazon cloud. And this is again by John Brodkin. He says, after move to Amazon, only the DVD business still uses traditional data center. And yes, they still have the tradition. Netflix still has, its root was in the DVD business, and it still is. But now, were you aware of this, that Netflix has been moving huge portions of its streaming operation to Amazon Web Services for years now? Did you know it was doing that?
Again, that is usually something done behind the scenes. So yeah. I think most people had no idea that was happening.
Yeah. But they have. And Amazon says it's finally completed its giant shift to the cloud. He says, we are happy to report that in early January of 2016, after 7 years of diligent effort, Netflix has finally completed their cloud migration and shut down the last remaining data center bits used by their streaming service. Okay, and they said this in a blog at noon today Eastern time. Netflix operates many tens of thousands of servers and many tens of petabytes of storage in the Amazon cloud. Netflix VP of Operation of Cloud and Performing Engineering told Ars in an interview, Netflix had earlier planned to complete the shift by the end of last summer, but it took them up to this point. Billing and payments was the last remaining piece. We wanted to make sure we do it right. Obviously, there was a lot of privacy concerns around customer data. The applications and data related to billing and payments were in a cage Netflix rented at a co-location facility. This was the last piece to be finished. Netflix's streaming business no longer operates any of its own data center space, but not everything is in Amazon. Netflix operates its own content delivery network called Open Connect. Netflix manages Open Connect from Amazon, but the storage boxes holding videos that stream to your house or mobile device are all located in data centers within internet service providers' networks or at internet exchange points, facilities where major network operators exchange traffic. Netflix distributes traffic directly to Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, and other big network operators at these exchange points. Once a customer hits the play button, video is delivered from one of those sites, but all the applications and data needed to manage everything a customer does before clicking play, such as signing up for the service or searching videos, is running in the Amazon cloud. All the customer-facing systems for the streaming business are thus in Amazon or the Open Connect storage boxes. All the search, personalization, all the business logic, all the data processing that enables the streaming experience, the 100 different applications and services that make up Netflix application, they live in the Amazon AWS system. It's the Amazon system. Most of the technology needed to manage employees of the streaming business is also in Amazon. The company also uses some software as a service applications, such as Workday. Okay. Now, again, we really don't need to know all of this because all we're doing is hitting the play button.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily impacts the consumer. It's just that Netflix is trying to, consolidate.
If anything, it shows just how big Amazon as a company is getting. It recently was valued as the most valuable company in the world. And heck, if a company as big as Netflix is, simply renting all their server space from Amazon, that again just goes to prove just how big Amazon is.
I guess it's still cheaper than Netflix building its own facility.
Oh, absolutely. There were so many great stories that I think we want to jump into another one.
Okay.
And actually jumping back into one.
Okay.
Back into iPhone's Error 53 because I want to comment on this.
Okay. Well, we actually didn't do it. I kind of teased it. So.
So iPhone's Error 53 may land Apple in the crosshairs of a lawsuit. So for anyone who doesn't remember, we talked about the Error 53 code was when anyone would repair their Apple Touch ID home button with a non-Apple standard Touch ID.
Right.
So so a non-sanctioned, just one that you went on eBay, you saw one for like $10, and you're like, oh, that's way better than the $40 from Apple, and you decide to repair it with that, and then it would essentially break your phone by saying Error 53. You take it into Apple Store, and Apple Store would be like, yeah, you want to buy a replacement, and that was essentially it. And now they're saying that just possibly, the law firm PCVA, based in Seattle, wants to prove that Apple is behaving illegally by knowingly disabling the devices and punishing users for not using its own more costly repair service. It's seeking enough complaints to trigger a class action that could lead to the compensation for multiple affected iPhone users. But again, to keep in mind, this is a class action lawsuit, and of course, the only one who will receive compensation for their efforts are, of course, the lawyers. Keep that in mind. One thing that you should also keep in mind, though, is that I actually saw an argument about this, and it really started to make sense because, at first blush, you really want to say that, oh, there's a cheaper way to do this. Apple doesn't like it, but, as the consumer, we should have the right to modify our own property however we feel that we want to. For Apple to say that they have any say in the phone after you pay for it is ridiculous. That makes sense at first blush, but after you think about it for a little bit, this is a security concern more than anything else.
That's what Apple's saying.
They're saying that, the Touch ID sensor that is embedded in the home button, this is why Android phones are so susceptible to being hacked into, because you can take out the home button or whatever the fingerprint scanner in an Android phone, hook up a non-sanctioned one that anyone can buy off eBay, sync it to a different person's credentials, and connect it to the same phone, and the memory is the same, all the files, all the contact information, all your personal information is still the exact same, but just by swapping out a non-sanctioned piece of hardware, they can then get around literally any security measures that those phone companies can take, just because it's not as secure. So yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a matter of security. Apple wants people to know that, but I mean, it's still going to be a hard sell for Apple to say that if you don't use our hardware, you can't use your phone that you purchased. That is a hard sell. But if the iPhone user, who in general likes iPhone because it is so secure, if they want to keep that level of security up, then they have to make little they have to give up little things. They have to sacrifice a little bit to have better security.
Yeah, exactly. And it sort of makes sense. And also, I mean, Touch ID has come a long way. Quite frankly, I remember when I first adopted it, it would maybe 3 out of 5 times it would work. Now I've yet it doesn't fail. I've never ever had Touch ID fail. It works every single time. I mean, they've really perfected it, and it works perfectly. And you pay a price for that. The price is that the price is that you have really good security, and if you use another component or third-party component, you could be jeopardizing that security, and that's what Apple's claiming for this. Now the article goes a little bit more, that it says that PCVA is not only looking into seeking compensation for broken phones, but for the data, photos, documents, and apps.
Obviously, they're looking for even more money, and hey, if PCVA can prove this in court, and they have their day in court, they get enough people complaining about this, and at the end of the day, people feel that they're in the right, and that the court sees it that way, then hey, that's the justice system. That's why we have it. But from honestly, from my personal perspective, Apple, it sucks what Apple's doing, but they kind of have to if they want to keep people secure.
And Apple's not closing the door. They're saying they're encouraging anyone who has experienced the Error 53 to contact Apple support and work it out with them. So they're not saying go away. They're certainly saying that to contact them and support and see if they can work things out. But I have a feeling that the workaround is going to, if you've already have an inexpensive an alternative or third party product in there, they're going to tell you to go take it to the Apple Store and get the original Apple one put back in. That would be my feeling. That's where you need to go with this. Okay. So we're continuing on. We're doing computer and technology.
There are a lot of good stories that we're not going to be able to get to.
Yeah. This was a cool one here. Did you know Google has patented delivery trucks that drive themselves?
No, let's not do that one. That one's boring.
Okay.
How about you either tease the Oculus Rift computers?
Yeah. How to build or buy an Oculus Rift ready PC. Okay,
this is not bad.
Okay, from Popular Science. They went ahead and they said they could build one with less than $1,000 with an operating system and a monitor. They did that. The Oculus Rift, obviously, virtual reality headset will start to ship next month. He says, but you won't be able to use it if you don't already have a relatively powerful computer. Okay, and we've kind of said that you're going to need something that's got some, legs to it. If you've already pre-ordered one for $599 and haven't gotten the memo or are interested in buying one and want to know how much the computer required would cost, he says, well, here's a one-stop shop. Okay. And the first thing is, let's define what we mean by relatively powerful computer, unquote. Okay. Well, Oculus released its minimum specifications that a computer would need to run games and applications displayed through the Rift. And that's an Intel i5 4590 processor minimum. Okay. When it comes to graphics card, at least an NVIDIA GTX 970 or AMD 290, and have at least 8 gigs of RAM, minimally. Okay. The processor and RAM required are pretty standard, actually, and can probably already be found in most modern PCs. The recommendation processor, that's Intel's i5-4590, was released back in May of 2014 and can hardly be called cutting edge. As for RAM, 8 gigs is pretty much the default in any laptop. Any gaming system that has 8 gigs, any game will tell you that's probably not enough. However, the graphics card is probably the most expensive part of the entire endeavor. The two suggested, which was the NVIDIA GTX 970 and the AMD's 290, run from $320 to $370, a little rich for the taste of most casual gamers. They both support 4 gigs of memory dedicated to processing texture and graphics, and if they weren't powering the Rift, could easily support 4K gaming at a reasonable frame rate. But if you're building your own rig, 3 parts does not a computer make. In addition to CPU, RAM, and graphics card, also known as a GPU, of course, the graphics processing unit, you'll need a case to put everything in, a power supply to distribute your power to each part, and a motherboard to connect all the parts. You want to make sure you get a hefty power supply. Please, 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 please. If anything, you want to make sure that you have something that's going. Don't get the minimal.
Even if you overshoot what you need, it won't draw extra power just because it can. It will only do whatever it requires.
But there's nothing worse and nothing more quirky than a power supply that's on the threshold. You know, you'll get strange things happening, and you will not necessarily know it's the power supply. So you want to make sure that you get something that's overkill. Power supply is very, very important. Now they have there's a website that recommended called the PC Part Picker, which is a free website where you can go ahead and piece the computer you might need. The author of this story, did a quick build that came in under $1,000 with the operating system and monitor included. Okay, and here's the breakdown. The Intel i5-4590 3.3 gigs quad-core processors, $188.99 from Super Blitz.
Well, I mean, if you're checking out the video portion, you can see all the prices here. But suffice to say, it seems he really did his homework, and he went to Outlet PC, Newegg, Amazon, SuperBiz. I mean, he went to lots and lots of different vendors to find the best price on each individual item.
Mm-hmm. He says the deals are available at Best Buy, Amazon, Microsoft Store. If you're looking for the the thing though you shouldn't shoot for though is the minimum configured piece to the Rift, because obviously newer things are going to come out. I have always maintained, and Ben maintains this as well, as you want to spend as much as your wallet can stand, really, because by doing so you're going to stave off obsolescence and keep your computer in a more modern position. I've always done that. When I'm getting ready to buy a PC, get one where it's almost hurt, but make sure that you get the highest performing one, because as the years roll by and newer things come out, your computer is still going to be sort of at the top of that area.
Well, you're gonna get you're gonna see the deal on the clearance rack. It's like, oh, check out this laptop, it's $189. You're like, oh man, new laptop, $189. And then in 6 months it's gonna be slow. It's like,
exactly.
It was cheap when you first got it, but that means it's it's not going to last very long in terms of cycles.
Yeah.
It's
the price of the Titan X now has come down quite a bit too. I mean, it was state of the art at the time, right? If you invested in a Titan X,
how much is a Titan X now?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't checked on it recently, but you want to try to shoot for the top of the line.
No, Titan X is still the same price as always.
It is? What is it?
Yeah, $1,000.
$1,000. Okay, well, but the next generation is going to come down. You and I both know that's going to happen. But
actually, funny story. The Titan X is very, very good and all. It's made for server, so if you can spring for the Titan X, please get the Titan X. But and I can safely say that personally, I really enjoy mine.
Uh-huh.
But performance-wise, the NVIDIA graphics card that they recommend here, the N70, the N70. There's actually a version, I think it's like the N70 Ti and the N80 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
If you can actually spring for 2 of those, and I think those cost anywhere from about $320 to $350 to about $400 for the 980. You spring for 2 of them, you save yourself about $200, and you set them up in a RAID. No, that's for storage. But anyways, you set the 2 graphics cards to run simultaneously.
Right.
The performance is actually a little bit better than the Titan X, and it's about $200 cheaper. So
there's a tip.
But of course, you have more heating to deal with, and and more power. But at the end of the day, 2 graphics cards could be the solution that you're looking for as well.
2 is better than 1. Exactly.
There are options out there. I mean, if you want to create a computer, this gentleman, for under $1,000 is definitely a stretch. I mean, he squeaked in at $100,000 at under $1,000.
Yeah.
And when we first ran stories like this, we mentioned that an appropriate PC for virtual reality is going to run you about $1,800. He squeaked in at under $1,000, but honestly, I don't think this is going to last very long running virtual reality. So about $1,800, I think, is what most people are still saying. That's about the level of computer you're going to want to shoot for to run games efficiently.
Yeah, on an Oculus Rift, exactly.
Because honestly, if your virtual reality experience starts to lag, if things start to jitter, if things start to just slow down, it's going to suck you right out. It's going to suck you right out of that experience, and you're just not going to have fun with it. So, I mean, if you can't go whole hog, if you can't go the full 1,800, might be worth it to wait until it comes down in price.
Yeah, exactly. But the Oculus Rift is coming out in March, and so for the early adopters, they better have a really good, solid PC ready to use with it. And as I'm sure, probably most of them who have ordered it probably already do.
But one thing this article does very well illustrate the point is that I have, I'm sure Craig, well, maybe Craig, he buys Apple, so, maybe he's not the best example, but most of us here at Computer America highly recommend building your own computer. It's definitely a lot more laborsome than going to a store and picking one off a shelf and taking it home and plugging it in. But you learn so much. And when I say you get it for cheap, you get a better computer for cheaper, you certainly do. You know what goes into it, and you know how it works, and you can even fix the computer if it gets broken.
Or you might want to consider doing something like the Origin PC, where they go ahead and piece it together. You can kind of piece it together with them.
They're the step after building your own PC. If you honestly can't find the time or don't really have the knowledge to do it, they essentially build the PC for you. You pick out the components, they sell them to you essentially at cost, and then there's a little bit of a licensing and construction cost. But I mean, for an extra $70, $80, $100, they're gonna essentially build you a PC, and it's gonna be very, very nice.
Yeah, and back it up too. So if you need support or something goes wrong, you have their number to call.
Right, and their customer support is obviously a good thing to have, because when you build your own PC, you are your own customer support.
Yeah, this is true. So at least you have someone to turn to, and which is very, very nice. And we've had a lot of experience with them, with the Origin, and they really do a nice job. They really do. Okay, I don't know if we have time maybe to do one more story here, Ben, or a quick one, because we got
quick one. All right, how about this one? Let's end on one to make your blood boil. This is this is from Ars Technica, Mr. Joe Mullen, and Dish to disable DVR ad skip for 7 days after broadcast to resolve Fox suit.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, so Fox and Dish have settled a years-long copyright dispute over Dish viewing features, including the Hopper, ad skipping DVR, Slingbox, and Primetime Anywhere streaming technology. So, not much detail is available at this point, but Dish said that it will disable ad skipping powers on all Fox programming until 7 days after the program airs. The company released a joint statement today, and here's the statement saying that Fox Network Group and Dish Network LLC have reached an agreement resulting in the dismissal of all pending litigation between the two companies, including disputes over Slingbox and blah 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 blah. And auto commercial skipping functionality will not be available for owned and affiliated Fox stations until 7 days after the program first airs.
Now it says auto hop. I don't know if it means the automatic ad skipping, or can you still skip through it manually? Because I don't know. I can't tell from that
The
wording.
way I read it is that the feature ad skip is probably it probably won't be active for 7 days until after you watch it.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine that the DVR functionality of fast forward would be taken out.
Okay, well that's something.
So
Fast
yeah,
forward.
and of course, Fox makes its own content available with ads 8 days after the broadcast on authorized internet sites like Fox and Hulu. So yeah, they had the Hollywood Reporter notice that Disney and CBS settled similar disputes in March and December. Disney's settlement, which also covers ABC and ESPN content it owns, calls for a 3-day ban on ad skipping, and CBS, like Fox, has a week long for ad skipping. So this is not the first time. Other content providers have made the same deal, but yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean,
90 seconds.
anyway, that about wraps up the show. We can talk about ad skipping again too. I have very definite opinions on things like that. But tomorrow we're going to have Ralph Bond's going to be joining us. That's right. The man himself, Autodesk Ralph Bond, is going to be joining us for both hours. And he's got some really fun stories that we're going to be talking about, including an amazing 3D printed robot. Get this, that can solve the Rubik's Cube in
60 seconds.
in under 2 seconds.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's incredible how fast, boom, and it's done. Other story is going to be to watch an Apple II GS boot over 20 years after it was last turned off. How to feed your 3D printer recycled plastics. A magical gadget that scans your food to reveal its nutritional value. A little pocket thing. It tells you if it's good to eat. And also, scientists find a way to make concrete on Mars and so much more stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. So until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
10 seconds.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody, again, thanks for watching. Don't forget our social media winner of the week tomorrow as well. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow afternoon. Take care.
Bye.